10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. What a fight! I think Guerrero won it.
Juan, the Hispanic causing panic, Lascano.
Smile from Manny Pacquiao. Oh, counter assertive!
And thanks to those joining me live and those that will be joining me on the archive, the style here. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. Share this video on your social media platforms, X especially. It's much appreciated, especially if you're watching on the archive. Leave a comment in the comment section and all that good stuff. Shout out to Remy, my hermano. He says, saludos, carnal. How's it going, brother? I hope everything is good on your end. I appreciate the support. So much to talk about here. By the way, if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram, _boxing. I have content there, digital magazine upcoming soon. Updating that every week. I took a little bit of a break from it. I've been doing a lot of them. So, but that'll be coming soon. I put some exclusive content there. So make sure you follow me there as well. If you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. But that's it. And if you don't have an Instagram account, well, start one and follow me there. I could be your first follow and I'll feel special and I'll get an extra follower on Instagram. You know what I mean? That's all I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. Kane Mack, good day, style. Hope all is well, mate, and everything is good on my end. Shout out to everyone from Australia, right, where nobody drinks Fosters. I have learned that. No more Fosters drinking jokes, right? But shout out to everybody, by the way, and I'll be doing another live tomorrow, and I have tomorrow off, so I got more lives coming for you guys and all that good stuff. Once again, hit the like button. Let's talk about this. Rico Verhoeven versus Alexander Usyk. They had a fight in Egypt. We're not going to talk about the rest of the card. We're going to focus this video on that fight itself. But I do want to give a shout out to the entire broadcast team for dragging us through. Maybe that's why it was a little lethargic. I really don't know. Maybe that's why Rico ran to the ring. He wanted to wake himself up. I mean, can they drag these shows any longer, bro? It's almost like they don't understand that we got lives and we got other shit to do. Like, it's almost like they don't get that, right? It's almost like they just want to keep us there. Like, if we really, really want to listen to these boxing commentators, for long periods of time, just killing time. It's almost like they don't get. I don't know, right? I don't get it, but either way, you guys tell me about the pacing. I think that just needs to improve. If there's one thing about these ring cards, if there's one thing that just, even when it's loaded with a lot of talent, the pacing just has to improve. It needs to get better. I don't know who told them, like, the longer you do it, the more prestigious it is. I really don't know, right? This is where, like, you owning the app and you could be on as long as you want is actually a problem, right? I kind of wish they had a block of time that they were restricted to it so that to hurry the fuck up is what I wish. A fight ends early. Yo, man, let's get it moving. We don't need to wait the whole hour. I'm not saying like just rush the dudes to the ring, but like, can we cut some time? I'm just saying. But with that said, look, a lot to talk about when it comes to this fight. A lot, especially the aftermath of it, right? But let me talk about the elephant in the room. All right, Let's talk about the clear elephant in the room, and that's the fact that Alexander Usyk was taken to the limit by Rico, right? And the reality is, Rico has one boxing match. That's it. One fight of experience in the boxing ring. And he spent what, like 70 fights, whatever it is, in the kickboxing ring. That's where his experience lies, and that's mostly where he's been. And the reality is, he went in there, and I think he performed a lot better than most people expected. Right now, like a lot of the MMA fans and a lot of these are coming out with their chest puffed out, like, yeah, where you cocky boxing fans now? But the reality is, I didn't hear anything from them before the fight. Like, I didn't hear anything. Right? They weren't on boxing streams or nothing like, oh, you guys don't know what's coming, man. I'm telling you, Rico's gonna do this. Rico's gonna, didn't hear a peep. Right? Nothing. All right. Nothing. Ariel Wani is talking about, oh, everybody was confident that Usyk was gonna win. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Why wouldn't people be confident that Usyk's gonna win? Like, it's like the dumbest shit ever, right? It's like trying to paint the sport like in a bad light. Like, can you believe that they thought they were very confident that Usyk was going to win this shot? They didn't think, Rico in one boxing match, had a shot to win this fight. Well, no shit. Like, what are you talking about, right? Like, there's a reason this was like a surprise, to a lot of people. There's a reason why it was a performance that you could look at and say, yo, there's Rico Cat, regardless, however you feel about the preparation of Usyk, whether they took him lightly or not. All that aside, that he performed very well. And I think that's very, like, unless you're like just a total hater, like or some shit, or just in complete denial, like, you have to acknowledge that. All right. And the reality is, I'm gonna just tell you guys right now that, and I was saying this last night, I was saying it all week, that if Rico performs remotely well in any way, shape, or form, if he takes Usyk to the limit, if he wins rounds, which most people had him winning on the scorecards prior to the knockout, the reality is, it's going to make the sport of boxing look bad, and that's just that is a reality, right? And just like a very real thing. Like let's not, like, I don't want boxing fans to do this thing where they're like, no, I like it. Yeah. I like underdogs. And no, like, you can be surprised, and it could be a pleasant surprise for you. And you can, like, be like, oh, wow, hey, we got somebody else in the mix at heavyweight and all that. Like, that's cool. But you can also acknowledge the fact that this is a trickle down problem that makes the sport of boxing look bad. Right? It's not a good look for the sport, right? When an outsider is coming in and taking like the heavyweight champion of the world lightly. In fact, the heavyweight champion that I like a lot. Look, I'm a huge fan of Usyk. Definitely the best heavyweight in the world, right? But I was on panels and dudes were swearing up and down, Usyk's not only the best heavyweight in the world. No, full stop. He's the best pound for pound, period. Like, period. He's the best. He's better pound for pound than Inoue. And the reason I was given is because Inoue can't go up and beat those heavyweights. This is what I was told. This is insane, right? And this is a situation, all right? This is a situation, guys, where a lot of things could be true at the same time, right? It could be true that Usyk is a great fighter, but at the same time, also true that the heavyweight division is weak as fuck, right? And that's something, I'm not saying this after the fact. I've been saying this. So you dudes that were making these arguments, sit down, shut up, and learn something, okay? I'm saying, like, at the end of the day, the heavyweight division, the modern day heavyweight division, I'm not saying it's like complete garbage or nothing like that, all right? But compared to most of the other weight classes, it just isn't pound for pound like that. It just isn't up to par like that. There's a reason dudes can outweigh somebody by 40, 50 pounds and still get their ass whooped in this heavyweight division. There's a reason Jayo Pataya tomorrow announced he's going to move to heavyweight. he would immediately be a top 10 heavyweight in the world, even though they all fucking outweigh him by double digits. There's a reason for that. There is a reason, all right, why I couldn't just put Usyk number one pound for pound just because he beat Tyson Fury because Fury outweighed him by 40 pounds. There's a reason for that. It's not that Fury's a bad fighter, but if we're honest, he looked like, didn't look in his best shape. That's number one. Hasn't looked in his best shape in a while, Fury, right? He wasn't at his optimum weight. He was just heavier, right? That's what it was. Like, the best weight for Fury is in the 260s, 250s, right? That's how he was when he fought Usyk. Came in overweight. Just so, yeah, it added to the how many more pounds he outweighed Usyk by, but that doesn't mean he was a bigger threat than he would have maybe came in better shape. But that's just my opinion. But with that said, Tyson Fury, while a very skilled fighter, especially for his size, he just isn't like a top 10 pound for pound skilled fighter in the sport of boxing. He just isn't, right? Like, it just is what it is. These heavyweights just aren't up to par skill-wise compared to the elite fighters in the lower weight classes. That's just the reality, all right? So spare me this whole like, oh, these heavyweights this, these heavyweights that. There's a reason two outsiders have come in now and made two top heavyweights look bad. Whatever the reason is, like, you're just not going to see that in the lower weight classes. It just isn't going to happen. Not that many times, if not ever. You're not going to see a kickboxer like show up and arguably be beating in a way on the scorecards, taking them to the limit, and a controversial finish being needed for in a way to win that fight. It's just not going to happen. Like, it just isn't. So I just want to make sure we understand all that, right? And I'm not going to shut up about it because I'm right. So while this is embarrassing for the sport, it also shines light that I'm fucking right. Right? That's what that shines light on. Right? Period. The fact that Usyk's an undersized heavyweight beating these guys shows you how weak the division is. Right? Is it still impressive that he's doing it? Absolutely. Of course it is. But skill-wise, they're kind of lacking, right? A dude that's very skilled, is not going to lose to somebody they outweigh by 40 pounds. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, if they were anywhere near the same skill level. So you could take that to the bank. You can make of it whatever the fuck you want to make of it, but that's just the fucking reality, right? A great big man will beat a great little man anytime. Right. So with that said, right. Shout out to Jesus in the building. He says it looks staged and that Usyk wasn't even throwing punches. He says, that's a hell of an opinion. I don't think the fight was staged, but I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, brother, but saludos to you as well. Usyk versus Rico was not staged, right? Rico was putting hands on Usyk. Let's go, like, everybody saw it. Like, we would have to do this thing where we pretend it wasn't happening. Like, it happened. We saw it. It's on camera. There's video footage of it. Everybody could see it, right? Most pundits that I saw had it like 7-3. I saw some 9-4s, a lot of 8-2s, a couple of 9-1s. I think 9-1 is a stretch. Right. But okay. I think minimum Usyk won at least 2, but I think you can argue up to 4. Right. And but with that said, like, we shouldn't even be talking about that. Like, there's no reason why Rico should have won a round, much less win most of the rounds. Like, that's not something that should have happened. Right. Now, granted, Usyk won the 11th. That would have been a 10-8, making it a lot closer. And I see a lot of bitching and whining about the scorecards, and I just don't think the scorecards were that bad. I get you could disagree with them, but I think it's the whole like thing that happens when you do a fight like this, right? And this is why I don't like crossover fights. Like I just don't like them because a halo effect immediately takes effect immediately, right? Whether people admit it or not, whether they realize they're doing it or not. Even I could have been doing this. You could have been doing this while you were watching it. But the reality is, any little success, and this is understandably so, by the way. Like there is a good logical reason, like that this makes logical sense, by the way. There's nothing wrong with this. But when you're watching Rico versus Usyk, you're just going to judge everything Rico does at a curve. You're just going to do it, well, even if you're trying not to. So anything that's good from Rico is going to look great. Anything decent he does is going to look good. Anything good is going to look great. Anything great is going to look amazing. So if he does something amazing, it's going to be like out of this world, right? And if he has bad moments, well, it's kind of expected, so your brain doesn't really process it that well, right? With Usyk, it's the complete opposite. Like you know, you're going to just react differently to it, right? It just is what it is. Now, with all that said, I do legitimately believe Rico was winning the fight, but you're only enhancing, right? It's only an enhancement of what you're watching. It's like whatever is happening on steroids. If Rico wins a round, he's not just winning a round. Like it's like you can't believe he just won. It's like amazing, right? And in order for Usyk to win a round, right, he needs to like completely dominate the round. And I think that's how I think the people that scored it, like they had like a shutout where Rico won every round, or they only gave Usyk 1 or 2 rounds. I believe that's what it was, right? I think most people that gave Usyk 3 or 4 rounds, or maybe 5, I think we're judging it more fairly. That's my opinion. All right. It's still reasonable that at best draw. That's how Rico felt. Rico said, I thought maybe we were like split in the rounds. He's the one in there feeling what's going on, right? But nonetheless, maybe he's being humble. Like maybe he's just a nice guy. Maybe he likes Usyk a lot. And I don't know. I'm not going to try to psychoanalyze the guy, but I do think that was happening. With all that said, though, Usyk drops him, and I have to be very honest here. It was a hell of a knockdown. Came a little too late. I mean, and when I say that, I mean Usyk should have done that like at least by the middle rounds, right? It was taking him forever to get something done, right? And you could credit Rico for that, obviously, right? But nonetheless, Usyk, you know, he found something in this puzzle that this awkward kickboxer was giving him, right? So he found something, which I think is going to spell disaster for Rico in a rematch because there's no surprise anymore. Right? He's not going to catch him by surprise with anything. He's got his rhythm down at this point. And I think it's going to be a very bad experience for Rico if the rematch. But nonetheless, like he caught him with a really good uppercut. Rico goes down, and here's what a lot of the outsiders are not talking about. All the Scott Halls and Kevin Nashes, what they're not talking about, right? If you're a wrestling fan, you got the reference, right? But all the Nashes and Halls that were watching this fight, what they don't talk about, what they don't point out, right, is the fact that Rico got a whole lot of time to recover, right? And like Rico got up, Rico didn't look 100%. He just didn't, right? Rico spit out the mouthpiece. I think he did it intentionally. It bought him some time. His team took a while to wash out the mouthpiece, right? And I got to tell you what, even when I'm saying all this, we shouldn't even need to say all this. Like I'm just being honest with you. This shouldn't even be a thing. And what I mean by that is this fight shouldn't have been anywhere near remotely close to where like this even mattered. In other words, this should have been the type of fight where Rico could keep spinning out a mouthpiece. It just wouldn't have mattered, right? You know what I mean? But in this fight, it did matter, right? And but here's where, like, when I say multiple things, right, can be true at the same time. And this doesn't go to the Nashes and Halls out there, right? This one goes to our little inner circle, our little bubble here of boxing. These are the rules of boxing. Like I'm seeing all these boxing fans upset. I can't believe they gave this dude so much time. I can't believe that the ref didn't tell him anything about spinning out the mouthpiece. I can't believe his team was allowed to take so long to put the mouthpiece in his mouth. And like, I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. Like, okay, so now you agree with me. When I was saying, hey man, like Navarrete got way too much time, Neil Lim wasn't hurt this dude. And I think it's bullshit that he spit out the mouthpiece. I think it's bullshit that he got extra time. I think it's bullshit his team took forever to put it in his mouth, right? Like, and you guys know, hey man, that's box. That's boxing, D-Style. D-Style, that's boxing. Shout out to Mark Nash in the building, right? I think he heard me say Nash. The dude just showed up. Hey, did somebody say Nash? What's going on? You know what I mean? I'll talk about the Scott Halls and Kevin Nashes out there, all the outsiders are watching this fight. That's what we're calling the kickboxing fans. You know, they're the Nashes and Halls. All right, but the reality, like, you guys were like, oh, that's a veteran tactic. I had some of you dudes tell me, it's okay now that it does that. That's smart. That's what smart fighters do. They look like that fucking meme and shit. Like, you know, that's how boxing fans look at that when you're stupid. With your snot-nosed attitudes, because you've been watching boxing for so long. You just love to just lecture people about the ins and outs of the sport, and you need to understand this, and boxing's a business, and this and that. And like, at the end of the day, those same dudes that have been bragging to me for years that they know they're boxing, and then you need to understand, you need to understand, like, spin out the mouthpiece is a veteran tactic, right? Navarrete had every right to do it. You know what I mean? That's smart that he did it. I have people that tell me this is what coaches teach. Now, I mean, I didn't know. I had a dude tell me that's the first thing you learn in boxing. Like, really? Like, that's a new one, right? When I was in a boxing gym at age 13 or whatever, like, I don't remember that. I guess I missed that day. I missed the spit out the mouthpiece when you're hurt day. I guess I didn't catch that one. That one just slipped by me, right? But dude just making shit up for years. But now all of a sudden, a kickboxer comes in. He's like, well, shit. He spits out his mouth. I don't know if that's a thing in kickboxing, by the way. I have no idea. But he spits out the mouthpiece. You would think, oh man, only a second, professional fight. He already has mastered the veteran tactic of spitting out the mouthpiece. I would have thought you guys should have been like, man, what a move by Rico, right? Now you agree. Now I get to be annoyed by it because I've been consistent about it for years, right? I've been consistent about the move. Like, I've always stayed very firm, bro, right? Because people, it's smart to do it. They'll do nothing the first time. They always give you a pass. Fuck the pass. How about you spit out the mouthpiece? When you get back up, we're going to say go. You don't get to wear your mouthpiece for the rest of the round because you spit it out. How about that? I bet you a lot less dudes will be spitting out the mouthpiece. I'm talking if you do it on purpose, right? But I've been saying that for years. If you guys would have agreed with me and that was a thing, Rico would have been knocked the fuck out and his teeth would be going down his throat, right? But this time, that's why you can't know. Well, guess what? He wouldn't have spit out the mouthpiece, all right? But with that said, now that I said that, no fucking commission's going to ever go for it, by the way. They're gonna play that clip, be like, oh, teeth are gonna go down the throats, and somebody's gonna choke and die, and then but at the end of the day, no, you shouldn't be throwing. At the very least, take away a point, bro. Automatic, take away a point. Automatic. And if you feel they're fucking stalling and taking a sweet ass time, then you tell, hey, you got 5 seconds, I'm gonna take away another point. That's how serious it needs to be, right? And every corner at this point, you would think every corner should be required to have an extra mouthpiece already ready to go, in case that should be protocol, especially in these high profile fights. What do you mean you gotta pick up the dirty ass mouthpiece and all that? You know what I mean? And then go and dip it in water and wait for his corner to bring in the water. You know what I mean? We gotta wait for that, right? Now that's not Rico's fault. According to y'all, Rico did a veteran tactic. According to y'all, right? That's what you do. That's boxing. That's what I was told, right? Hey man, that's the way that it's done. This, that, and the third. You know what I mean? Shout out to Remy with a super chat. I appreciate the support, brother. $5 holla. Usyk embarrassed us, but him versus Dan Duval for undisputed. Then Fabio Wardley fights the winner, and then Caballero. No, Remy does not want the rematch. I don't mind the rematch, but I want to see Rico fight somebody out. Fight another top heavyweight. See how you fare, and if you beat that guy and Usyk beats Caballero, then we can do the rematch. How about that? You know what I mean? That's what I think, personally. I think that's what they should do. Now, what do you mean you get another crack at the heavyweight championship? Just as controversial. No, if you're that dude, you're that good, there's no reason you can't beat a top 10 heavyweight, right? There's no reason you can't do that. So throw him in there with Zhang or something. Zhang needs to come back fight. And if he beats Zhang, okay, now we're talking. And now it's like, this wasn't an anomaly. This wasn't just a good night. This dude's a real deal. That's what I think. I don't see how anybody could be against that, by the way. All right. Make sure you guys hit the like button if you haven't already. All right. Turkey wants Jai versus Benavidez after Jai versus Noah for WBC in August. That will be fireworks. Turkey Al-Ashik has already gone on record saying, I want Jai to fight for undisputed. There'll be money behind it. There'll be no, we don't know who he is. Fuck you. The money's there. Okay. Get your money. Get your bag. Benavidez ain't sound like that. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Let's get back to this one here. So, but shout out to Jai. Jai's that guy. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to JC. How you doing, brother? Okay. Shout out to you. All right. Mike Gonzo says Rico is only going to be interested in the biggest fights. Throw him in against AJ, and he will get knocked out cold. The problem is AJ is occupied. AJ's got another fight coming, and then after that, he's going to fight Fury. So I'm thinking this year, they got to put him in there with somebody this year. Put him in there with Sanchez. Sanchez just won. You could do that fight. You know what I mean? Like Rico could be interested in whatever he wants, but it's simple. Like Turkey's gonna pay you, bro. Who are we kidding, right? So the money's there. Come on, Rico versus Ruiz, just do that fight. Let's fucking go, says JC. You know what I mean? Rico versus Wilder, let's do that fight. I see all the Wilder fans talking shit on the internet, like, oh yeah, this is why he avoided Wilder. Like what? Okay, well, I guess. The same Wilder got knocked out by Zhang and outboxed by Parker, just taking the school. Parker just outboxed him, proved he was superior in every way in the 12-round course. But that's the dude that you think could beat Usyk. Okay, cool. Right? I throw him in there with Rico. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Let's just do it. So, will he catch Rico and knock him out? Maybe, but we got to see it. That's all I'm saying. So I want to see Rico back in the round. Rico proved, hey, I belong at this level, right? Okay, cool. Can he do it consistently? Who are you going to fight next? Right? And I don't think he should get like an automatic, okay, boom, I get to jump right in the mix and for the title shot right away. That whole thing is just a fucking mess, bro. it's the fucking mess, the whole thing. Like just everything. So now we talked about he did get a lot of time to recover, and then Usyk jumped on him. Usyk actually did land some of those punches, by the way. I saw a lot of dudes online saying, "Oh man, he was covering the punches." Nah, like I saw some clips, bro, where they were landing. You got to pay attention, but I do believe it was stopped prematurely. That was just a bad stoppage by the ref, right? That ref, after helping the dude recover, like they just jump in and stop it. Like this, it's crazy, right? I don't like. I am very convinced that Rico at that point was pushing his punches. You saw damage in his face, by the way. Usyk's face was literally like clean. And Rico had a lot of damage on his face. I'm not saying that tells the whole story, but that's what I saw. And Rico looked like he was walking on quicksand at that point, and he was dropped in devastating fashion. Italma versus Rico. Why not? You know what I mean? Like if Rico's that dude and kickboxers got it like that, there's no reason he can't beat some other contenders. I'm saying, right? But I personally, guys, feel that Usyk was on his way to win the rematch anyway. I'm sorry, the next round. I'm sorry, anyway, for sure. Like he won round 11, and he was going to win round 12 for sure, which would have won in the fight on the scorecards. And I do believe at the very least he would have knocked down Rico at least one more time. But I just don't see Rico getting out of the 12th. He looks spent. He was just trying to survive and get out of the 11th, right? Also, I don't the controversy that they stopped the period. I don't really buy the whole like, well, the bell rang and then they stopped it. A referee can make the decision that he's going to stop it, right? Right before the bell rings, and if the bell rings, then he stops it. That's fine, right? A ref stopped the fight with one time Vladimir Klitschko after the bell, right? Like that happened one time. The referee had made the decision to jump in. Like that decision was made. You could look at his body language before the bell rings. The fact that he stopped it after the bell rang doesn't really mean anything, right? Like it's just that just is what it is. So that it's just not going to go anywhere. Like the whole like, oh, he's going to put a, he's complaining about it or whatever. I don't think that's going to go anywhere, to be honest with you. Other than hyping up a rematch that Turkey apparently wants, he's a dude with the money, so it might happen. But another thing, and it's kind of the reality. Like what's frustrating about it is that the referee caused an unnecessary like controversy, right? Like it Usyk would have just done it in the next round, and we wouldn't have all this like controversy, whatever, right? And the truth is, Rico deserved to either go out on a shield, or have an opportunity to cross the finish line and potentially win the fight. Like he deserved that, and the referee didn't give him that. Regardless of what my opinion is, that's the reality of the situation, right? He caused an unnecessary, controversy. It wasn't the right stoppage. I feel Usyk would have won anyway. And regardless of how I feel, Rico deserved the opportunity to, finish the fight on his feet, or even go out on his shield. Like that's what he earned. And I don't think the ref gave him that. And unfortunately has caused all this controversy, has caused all these conspiracy theories that the sport of boxing doesn't want outsiders to win, and that the sport of boxing just didn't want Usyk to lose, and the ref was protecting Usyk. And the reality is, people are going to think what they think, but this was the decision that the referee made. What do you mean boxing? Like what like people make it sound like some dudes in a room made this decision or something like to do this. If boxing was not interested in outsiders, they wouldn't even give an outsider who has not even earned this shot an opportunity. This dude literally didn't earn this title shot, and he got it. Right? He didn't earn this payday in terms of within the boxing space, and he got it. So, like, this idea that it's a conspiracy against him, right, is absolutely ludicrous, right? So like, it's just that's my opinion, right? But the referee did what he did. I believe it was a mistake. It was a bad call by the referee, right? But I want to address you MMA dudes out there, right? Who were acting like little girls all over the social media. They still are, by the way, right? Like, and I'm going to touch on that, Mike. I am. But first of all, it's just hilarious to me. All these MMA fans want to claim Rico, right? He's one of us. Like, okay. I think Rico's had like one MMA fight, right? This dude is mainly a pure kickboxer, right? I don't follow kickboxing like that, but from what some people have told me, which I take this with a grain of salt, he's the best. He's like the best kickboxer ever. I don't know about that. Like, I mean, I never trust claims like that. But right, he's a really, really good kickboxer. That's for sure. Right. A lot of experience, a lot of kickboxing matches. Right. And kickboxing, it obviously it has the kicks and all that and all that, but boxing is a big component of kickboxing, right? And Rico has a lot of experience sparring a lot of top, boxing heavyweights. And this it's still surprising. Like, I don't want anybody to get me wrong here. But it shouldn't be as surprising as people think, right? It's like people are acting like this is at a 10, and it's still pretty high, but it's not at a 10. It's maybe like a 7, right? And but to the MMA dudes, like, MMA fans really do have like this little brother complex when it comes to boxing, right? Like, they really do. And maybe it's because a lot of boxing fans are just dicks about MMA and make fun of them, like rolling around in their bicycle shorts and don't, because a lot of boxing fans don't like the grappling and all that. But maybe it's that. Maybe it's because there are a lot of boxing fans that don't give any credit to the UFC fighters, MMA fighters, and are very dismissive of the sport. And I think most have come around, but nonetheless, just this little brother complex. Like, they almost take it personal that boxers make more money. They take it personal that boxing gets so much attention. They take it personal that the ones that make the transition for the big paydays are the MMA fighters and the kickboxers. It's not the other way around. Like you're never going to see Canelo like, you know what, man, to get my payday, I need to go to the UFC. Like, you're never going to see that. At least not in the near future, right? That's just not the way it works. But they almost like take that personal. So like, the amount of dudes that I saw do reels on Instagram, like, there was a guy that's like, I don't think boxing fans understand that boxing is only like 30% of kickboxing. So like, they only do 30% of what Rico does 100% of, and in MMA it's only like 9% and maybe 13% if you're Alex Pereira or something like that. Maybe if you box, maybe like a Nate Diaz is like 17% of what you do, but for a lot of guys like Islam, it's like 2% of what he does, and these boxing guys, they don't understand. What do you mean? What does that even mean? That we don't understand that's not a thing in boxing. Like, it's literally in the rules, bro. Go read the Marcus of Queensbury. It says no wrestling allowed. Like, they banned it. No kicking allowed. All right. You're not allowed to take people that, okay, yeah, you don't do throws in fucking boxing. Okay, unless it was last week's main event with Keyshawn, Keyshawn and shit, right? What have we done? Like if we don't know that's illegal in boxing. They don't realize like we don't know that in MMA they do like more striking and they fight in the ground and all that. Like we don't know that. Like we don't know, right? Like this is nuts, bro. So I'm going to repeat what I've been saying for years. It's like talking to children, to little bros out there, little brothers, like you know what I mean? Like nobody's forcing you to watch boxing, bro. Like this hatred they have for it, right? And this is acting like little girls, like boxing was exposed. Yeah, boxing isn't a real sport. These kickboxers are better at boxing than boxers are at boxing. Well, if that was the case, wouldn't these kickboxers be boxing so they could be making the millions that boxers make? Like if there's a dude at that's a super bantamweight at kickboxing. Like, you don't think he would just go to boxing so he could fight Inoue and make like $4 or $5 million? Use your brains for a second. Like, just like use your critical thinking for a brief second. Like, if doing kickboxing makes you a superior boxer than traditional boxing training, right? Why did Rico hire a traditional boxing trainer? Why? What are we doing? Wouldn't somebody have already done it? Like just get rid of, like just start a kickboxing gym, but just have it for their boxers and try it out and see if they could produce consistent world champions like a Robert Garcia or something. Like, you don't think it would have been done already? There's more money in boxing, so it would have been done if that was the case. No, there's no more money, but yes, there is. Little bros, chill, bro. Right? They got the little brother complex. It's like they take offense, and they're saying, "Oh, boxing is the easiest of all of them because it's only 2% of what MMA fighters do," and this, that, and the third, and boxing is limited by design, and the forced limitations of it is what makes it hard. Okay? It's human nature. It's more natural to try to grab somebody and throw them to the ground. It's a more natural feeling. It's more natural to want to use your legs to defend yourself. Boxing forces you to not use your legs, to not grapple, unless you're Devin Haney for like half of the fight, right? But all jokes aside, it's limited by design. That's the point of the sport. And that limitation forces in these fights for everything to be split by hairs. It makes it more difficult to take somebody out because you have that limitation, right? If they're better at it than you, it's a lot harder to find a way to piece the puzzle and beat them. Right? You cannot rely on other resources or another way to beat them, right? There's pros and cons to everything, obviously, but that's the whole point of the sport. If boxing wanted elbows, it would have never banned elbows. If boxing wanted knees, it would never have banned knees. If boxing wanted grappling and wrestling and all that, it would never have banned the wrestling. If boxing wanted kicks, it would have never put in its rules that kicks aren't allowed. All right? If boxing wanted spinning back fist, they wouldn't have banned the back fist. That's a banned move. It banned it. So like, when these dudes say things like, don't these boxing fans, doesn't boxing realize, like sometimes they talk about boxing. Like boxing is like a living person. Like, you know what I mean? Like boxing is a thing, like a person, right? And doesn't boxing realize that they don't need to worry about elbows? Doesn't boxing realize that they don't need to worry about takedowns? Doesn't boxing realize that they don't need to worry about knees and takedowns and throws, double legs, arm bars and chokeholds? Doesn't boxing realize that, like, first of all, who's boxing? Who are you talking to? Like, who's this boxing dude? Who's that person? Like talking about it like it's some dude or some shit, right? Like we're all monolithically like one person. What do you mean? Like all those things were banned from the sport of boxing over a century ago. Of course we know you can't do those things. Because the sport banned it. What are you talking about? If the sport wanted it, it wouldn't have banned it. All right? You know, it's totally possible for the sport of boxing to like implement and change rules. It's done it over the centuries, right? It can just add elbows if it wants to. It doesn't want it, bro. It don't want your hose. It just doesn't want it. You can keep that hole. Like you want it, you can have it. I happen to believe that's a beautiful thing. It makes each combat sport different, right? Kickboxing is different forms of kickboxing, but it has its rules. Okay, things that are allowed, not allowed, right? But that makes it a unique combat sport experience. And then boxing has the things it doesn't allow. It's limited, very limited compared to the other martial arts by design. It's designed that way, right? But those specific rule sets makes it a unique sport within itself. MMA be more open fighting and more things being allowed. It makes it its own unique sport. MMA fans talk like they don't want any other combat sport to exist, just their sport. Like, oh, there's no need for that because it's limited. It's not real fighting. Oh, there's no need for that because they don't allow elbows. There's no need for that one because they don't allow takedown. It's not real fighting. Like, what are we talking about? You don't go watch real fighting, go to the bar, fights break out, there's no rules, no ref, right? Sometimes you can take out a knife, I don't know, break a beer bottle. Like, I don't see beer bottles in the octagon. Like, it is what it is. There's a certain limit to everything, right? I happen to believe that it's a good thing. I think it's great that you have like pure grappling, like Greco-Roman wrestling, or like Brazilian jiu-jitsu. You have gi and no gi. It's just the tactics are different. The approach is different. You have Muay Thai, one of my favorite combat sports, where you could throw elbows and knee and stuff. They allow some throws. You have like other forms of kickboxing where maybe it's not, a lot of that is not allowed, right? But at the end of the day, I like the fact that they're all different and they have different. I think that's a beautiful thing. But little bros, like they're just like out here running amok. Like they're out here just like they're just jealous of the sport of boxing. They're jealous, like they don't think the boxers. Why are these lesser fighters making more money? They don't deserve it. Like they're just like jealous instead of being grateful that this dude got a great payday because of the sport of boxing, right? Like instead of that, and then they want to claim the dude. Like I had a dude tell me kickboxing is MMA. All of it's MMA except boxing. If that doesn't tell you little brother syndrome, I don't know what does. At the end of the day, right? And then you got to do it like, why don't the boxers, huh? Why don't the boxers go to the cage, huh? Why don't the boxers go over there? Like, because, like, first of all, a lot of boxers have done that. Jeremy Williams, who was a judoka, by the way, he was a top contender, right? He was a top cruiserweight, heavyweight, top heavyweight contender. He fought as a light heavyweight, went 5-0 in MMA. he beat a dude that had beaten Randy Couture in amateur wrestling, right? But he was just a little too old at that point, but he went 5-0 in the he did it. What do you mean? A lot about Ricardo Mayorga did it. Old as fucking he did it. Knee a dude in the spine, and they disqualified him for kneeing a dude in the spine. Like that's what Ricardo Mayorga did, right? The boxers would never do it. Ray Mercer was like old, probably diabetic, couldn't get a boxing license, right? Had no business fighting anymore, by the way. It was shameful that they even put him in a cage, by the way. But they put this dude in a cage against Tim Silva, who was just like 2-3 years removed from being UFC heavyweight champion. Knocks a dude out in the octagon. But I'm hearing MMA fans make all types of excuses. Oh, but Tim was old. He wasn't in his prime no more. He was fat. He didn't take Mercer serious. Like what do you mean? Like Mercer was all of that times 10. Like, what are you even talking about? And it's not a sport. Oh, he was trying to bond. No, he threw a kick at Mercer. And then he landed the big bomb and shit, knocked the dude out, timber. Like what do you mean boxers have never done it? Like, what are you talking about? You haven't heard of Holly Holm? Former pound for pound boxer, Hall of Fame boxer now. In her mid-30s, made a transition to MMA, right? And knocked out Ronda Rousey, who was undefeated and armbar in every bitch in town, right? And beat the shit out of her, and became UFC world champion. The boxers had never done it. The boxers, you know what I mean? Clarissa Shields did it. Yeah, she lost her last set, but she did it. Don't say they don't do it. Amanda Serrano has done grappling and is undefeated in MMA. There are some boxers that have done it. Like, what are you even talking about? Like there's dude that started as amateur boxers and made a transition and became really good MMA fighters in the process. Like this idea, right? That boxers have never done it. But the other thing is, of course, the top boxers, most of them are never going to go to MMA. Not like for what? Like, what's the incentive? The reason these dudes do it, okay, is because there's money in it, right? Somebody's willing to pay for it, like large amounts, and giving them like Ngannou had never even dreamt about money like that. Like when he fought Fury, I saw his trainer say, one of his trainers being interviewed by Ariel Helwani, saying as soon as after that fight, he couldn't believe the amount of money that Ngannou wired him. Life-changing money. Now, are these people grateful towards the sport of boxing? Do they say, man, hey, shout out to boxing, bro? Like it gave Ngannou life-changing money and like changed this dude's life and shit, right? Rico probably made millions and shit. Like instead of just being like, oh man, that's kind of cool. No, like they're just little brother syndrome, insecure little bitches is what they are, right? Like that's what they are at the end of the day. And then let's get to this whole oh yeah, man, they just went in there and that would never happen in MMA. What are you talking about? Like Brock Lesnar literally walked into MMA like in 3-4 fights, became the UFC world champion. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? That would happen in MMA. The dude, oh no, but yeah, it doesn't matter what you tell me, right? Yes, he had a amateur wrestling background, but hadn't done it in years, right? And was doing pro wrestling for like 3 years. Like what are we done? But okay, fine. Okay, cool, right? Like Alex Pereira showed up and just wrecked shop in a couple of fights, bro. Knocking out like dudes left and right, dominating, you know what I mean? Like in 2 weight classes now, knocking dudes out, like dominating them. Like, what do you mean that wouldn't happen in MMA? It's happening in MMA. What do you think Rico would do to the UFC heavyweight weight class right now? I'm convinced Rico would absolutely dominate the UFC heavyweight division. I'm convinced of it. All right. I'm like 100% convinced. So to be over here, oh man, you're champion. I almost lost to Rico. like, what are we even talking about? And don't talk to me like it hasn't happened in kickboxing, right? Didn't an MMA fighter in Overeem go to K1 or whatever it was and wreck shop with some of those dudes at their own game? Like it happened to them. Like this whole thing, like it's unique to boxing that somebody can come from another combat sport. It's just kind of nuts to me, right? Number one. But okay, cool. All right, whatever. All right. At the end of the day, Usyk was going to take care of business anyway, knock dude out of the 12th. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. But we got to give Rico his credit. Rico's that dude. I have a lot of respect for Rico. All right. Well, why did the boxers go to the cage, man? Why does the Canelo go to the UFC? Like, why would he do that? Like, you guys, like, you do understand that boxers, MMA fighters, kickboxers, like, they're all human. They're like, you guys talk about like the different species or some shit, right? It's an individual thing. That's what it is. If a boxer took a transition serious, right? Yes, it could have success in MMA. When like regular dudes have gone to MMA and had success, like, well, what are you even talking about? Right? But with that said, shout out to Skywalker Boxing Media in the building. This is nuts, bro. Mayweather never went to the octagon, but McGregor went. Yeah, McGregor made like life-changing money by making that move. You're not going to give Mayweather life-changing money that he wasn't already making if he goes to MMA. Like, give me a break, bro. Give me a fucking break. Seriously. All right? What are we doing? No, but you need the background. Like, Holly Holm didn't have like some wrestling background that I know about. Went over there and knocked out, one of the best grapplers you got. Like, it is what it is. Right? So with that said, kickboxers already have a history of making successful transitions into the sport of boxing. It's literally like already happened. Like the thing is, it wasn't marketed that way. And that's the problem I have with the way they market this shit. But one of my favorite fighters ever, and I know a lot of you diehard boxing fans will remember this, right? And shout out to Bruce Goss. He's actually had him on before. But one of my favorite fighters ever, bro, right? Exciting to watch is Troy Dorsey. Troy Dorsey was a successful kickboxer that made a transition into boxing. And there was some ups and downs or whatnot, right? But Troy Dorsey, literally a couple fights in, became like the IBF world champion, like, which is like insane, right? So he had a great fight with Jorge Paez, by the way. Like, unbelievable fight, by the way. You guys got to go watch the Jorge Paez fights because they're fucking amazing, bro. Right? If fight fans back then had the stupid mentality that the fans today have, oh man, I can't believe Paez, man, a fighter with over 30 fights, struggled against this kickboxer, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what they did back then? They just enjoyed the fights and they appreciated guys that showed up like that. Now, Dorsey didn't win those fights, but nonetheless took Paez to the limit. One of them was actually a draw, and then ended up beating Alfred Rangel, for the IBF title a year later. Look, after that, he's kind of used as an opponent. Like De La Hoya knocked him out, and he kind of just faded into the wind. I think Gabriel Ruelas retired him, but nonetheless, he was still a very exciting fighter to watch. And Goruga already mentioned him, but Vitaly Klitschko made a transition from kickboxing to boxing, right? And a very successful transition. And he ended up becoming, in my opinion, one of the best heavyweights of all time in boxing. So, yes, they could make transitions. Now, granted, kickboxers have had way more success than MMA fighters, but still, but MMA fans want to claim, they want to make the claim, right? But this goes against they don't want outsiders to win, the sport this, sport that. When outsiders have come in, made a transition, and have become world champions. Chris Algeria was a kickboxer. Other dudes were kickboxers, bro, and they've had a lot of success in the sport of boxing. So I think Miller was a kickboxer. I think Dylan White was a kickboxer. A lot of guys have been kickboxers before and have found success in the sport of boxing. So for the life of me, I just don't understand why people are acting like this is out of this world. Don't get me wrong. It's still very surprising what he did. And I get it was only after one fight, which brings me to this. Nobody should even be getting opportunities like this unless they earn it. Like, period. If Rico's that dude, he could have beat some top dudes and he got in a shot. If he's that dude like that. But now, oh no, he doesn't want that. He just wants straight to the title. And then, like, what have we done? This shouldn't even have happened. Crazy that it happened. It's not even about, and I said this before the fight, it doesn't matter what the result is. Caleb Plant was a kickboxer. Well, there you go. That is the way it goes, guys. That's the way it goes. And if you think about it logically, it makes sense, right? If you have a kickboxing background, you're kind of in the middle of boxing and MMA. You're kind of in the middle, right? In terms of like the rule, what's allowed and not allowed, like, you know what I mean? So you could see them making transitions to one or the other. It's a smoother transition for them on both sides than the other way around, right? And a lot of the guys, even MMA fighters that have done a transition to boxing or have done boxing fights, have a heavy striking background, right? So there you go. Tension is doing pretty good, absolutely. Plenty of guys have done make the transition. Plenty of guys, right? This is nothing new, nothing. So a lot of people they just sound ignorant when they say shit like a kickboxer can't come into boxing, and it's already happened before, guys. If they're a great athlete and they have a basic already some understanding of boxing, which they do, right? Then they're able to make a transition. And there's a lot of kickboxers that lean more heavy on the boxing side than the kicking, right? Like, so even within that sport. So there you go. With that said, that's all I gotta say. Shout out to Remy once again. Thanks for the support, brother. Shout out to everybody that tuned in. Let me know what you think. You're watching the archive. I gotta go to sleep. I'll be live tomorrow, guys. I'm out of here. Peace.